Hi, I'm Megan Baker, and this is Influence Her. Lindsay Rae is an award-winning empowerment photographer turned body image activist. She is the owner of the Self-Love Experience to break society's narrow-minded beauty standards. We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. It's an absolute pleasure to finally meet you. I've been following you for quite some time.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I know it took us a little bit to make it here through all the inclement weather and the bugs, but we're
here.
It. Yes.
So you have such an inspirational and really captivating story. You and I were talking a little bit. Tell us how you moved, how you found your way to upstate New York from Florida.
Yeah, so I actually, I almost say ran away from home at 19. I had a really terrible car accident. We were in the middle of a Florida storm. My car hydroplaned, wrapped right around a tree. And at that point I was like, I'm not driving anymore. I can't do this anymore. So I took 2 weeks. I got a phone sales job. I made $1,800. I packed up 2 suitcases and I got on a plane and moved to East Flatbush, Brooklyn. If you look at East Flatbush, Brooklyn about, 16 years ago now maybe, it's not the same as it is now. It was a really unsafe neighborhood and I had to quickly learn to find bravery within myself and to acclimate to this new environment. But I'm a New Yorker now. I've got almost 20 years under my belt of being here, and I love it.
Very similar to me, yeah, because I'm a transplant from Pittsburgh, so very similar time frame too. Tell us how you found your way to photography. Has it always been a passion of yours?
No, actually not even a little bit. I always wanted to be on the other side of the camera. So when I moved to New York, I also applied to a school called the New York School for Film and Television, where I studied acting for film. So learning how to connect with the camera, learning how to build emotion, learning eye lines, learning sight lines, learning how to find your light. And from there, I went into casting direction. I helped cast a few small movies and SAG-AFTRA commercials. I got to go to the Oscars and host on the red carpet in 2009, which was amazing, for Fashion for Rain. And then I got married and I followed him up here. And now here we are. The rest is history. We had a child together and now this is home.
How has your past experience in film and in acting, how does that translate into photography and making women feel comfortable in front of the camera?
Exactly. I think it's less about being comfortable in front of the camera because the camera is an inanimate object and more about being comfortable with the photographer. So my approach has always been to be friendly, to be real, to be connected, to make inappropriate jokes and have lots of fun humor together. And I think it's less about what I learned in school and more about what I learned from being a New Yorker and living in New York City and needing to connect with people and needing to learn how to make my own friends. So I take the approach of treating every client like they're my best friend. They come in, we're laughing, we're kicking off our shoes, we're within 10 minutes, they're stripping their clothes off and trying on lingerie.
A lot of trust.
Yes, for sure.
Now, self-love is very important to you and self-empowerment. Why?
I came from a family filled with, I don't want to say fitness freaks, because I feel like that's a term that's also derogatory, but filled with fitness enthusiasts. And I was always the oddball out. I was the plus size, ever since I was in middle school, I've always been a bigger girl. And I've never quite felt like I fit in. And I came from an environment where I was raised that you could be beautiful if you did this, or you could be beautiful if you did that. And I was never just, you're beautiful, Lindsay. And so I made it my mission to make sure that any other woman that I met that has ever felt that way has a chance to be looked at and seen as beautiful now, exactly how they are.
That's very strong and encouraging for other women. I mean, I think these days, especially with the advent of social media going back how many years, it's really been difficult, especially for young women and young ladies like my daughters who are teenagers. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would go even beyond young women because for me, that's actually been something that I've needed to make a big shift with. I am the mother of an absolutely incredible non-binary child. And one of the things that I've learned is that there's a detriment that comes when we constantly say that the message that I have is for women only. I learned about this when I gave my TED Talk as well. It was the men that came up to me after the talk to say, we feel this too. And that's why over the past few years, I've transitioned from being just about empowerment for women to empowering everyone to feel confident in their skin here and now.
And it's important for everyone to have a voice. Let's dig into that a little bit more. You mentioned the TED Talks. What was that experience like?
The TED Talk was one of the most grueling experiences I've had, and most people don't understand this. And I'm lucky enough now that I also am a master coach for Conquer the Red Dot, which is a program where we take aspiring thought leaders and we bring them through a core messaging triad developed by Brian Miller, and we walk them through the whole process that I went through, from learning how to deliver their message, to craft their message, to nailing down what an idea is, to understanding what an idea is. And most of us enter writing a speech thinking that we know what an idea is, that we know that it is this big thing, but so often these ideas are confused with opinions. And that's what the TEDx process taught me, is the difference between an opinion and an idea, because an idea drives action. And that's what the TED process really teaches you, is how to use your words to drive action.
And you've applied that to what you're currently doing to empower others.
Exactly, yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. What are those workshops like that you're doing?
Yes, so I just delivered my first workshop, which we called Photos as Smart as You Are. And the reason why it was called that is I find so often that I look at these highly intelligent individuals and leaders, and then I look at their photos and they look like they should be running down a beach skipping, and not leading a boardroom, not leading meetings, not being a thought leader and making an impact. So it became my mission to not just offer boudoir anymore, but to change the name of it completely to empowerment photography. And that's because I want people to have images of themselves that they feel safe and comfortable sharing online. Will I still offer boudoir? Yes, as an add-on. Anybody can add on those looks and keep them private. But my real mission and my drive now is to help not just women, but people who identify as women, trans women, non-binary individuals, men, you name it, to be able to feel confident in themselves and have photos of themselves that they can bring out to the world and proudly stand behind and say, I'm a leader.
So take me through the process. Boudoir first. When somebody comes in, because for me that's nerve-wracking to have to undress in front of somebody. Take us through that process. How do you make others feel comfortable in their skin?
Yeah, so it's really fun. As soon as a client walks in the door, I'm already telling jokes. I'm tripping over myself, probably lost my phone twice in the beginning of just meeting someone. And we're laughing, we're talking, we're coming in, and then I tell my clients all the exact same thing. It's almost like a memorized script at this point, because it's that important that these words come out before we begin the process. And I tell my clients, you have no idea what I'm seeing through a hole that's literally this big in the back of my camera. So every decision that I'm going to make for you is based on what I'm seeing through a hole that's literally this big. Not what the room sees, not what the mirror sees, not what your friend sitting over there sees, or the makeup artist sees. Just what I see. And so it helps them to trust me, to understand that I'm not making decisions based on what they look like right now or how they feel right now, but that I have a deep understanding of how what they're looking like, what they're wearing, how they're feeling is going to translate onto camera. And then we just crack jokes. I mean, if you're not laughing, you're not at a self-love experience.
It would be fun to be a fly on the wall and have like a blooper reel, because I'm sure you have some favorite moments. Do you have one session that sticks out in your mind?
I actually really love the session that you can see behind us right now. And this was her, this client's,
amazing.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. This client's second session with me. And she had this amazing idea to do the hear no evil, see no evil, feel no evil, speak no evil is the other one. And it was great because when a client comes back, and I'd say about 50% of our clients do return for other sessions, after going through their first session, they find this sense of empowerment in themselves, where they start to feel safe being seen. And then they come back for their second session, and in their second session, they know what they want now, and they ask for what they want. So I love that she asked for this. This was done in my backyard at my home, a couple miles away in Latham. We live on this gorgeous creek, and she was just brave enough to strip down completely, hang out in my backyard, and create these beautiful images. And another one of my more well-recognized images is from the same session where she's wearing these magnificently huge black angel wings.
Oh, wow.
And she's arching against a
I've
tree.
seen those photos.
Yeah. And it's one of the more powerful sessions that I've ever done because I had the opportunity to be inspired by the client instead of just being the one to inspire someone. And that's what makes this work worth continuing to do.
I'm going to get a little bit more personal than what we have been so far. If you were to assess me, I were to come in, where would you direct me?
In terms of a boudoir session?
A boudoir session.
Well, I definitely love the color pink on you. So I would definitely, and we have a set upstairs. It's a bed set, and there's a sign over it that says, "All I ever wanted was everything." For you, that would be the perfect set because I know that you have these big aspirations just from the little bit that we talked about, moving your business from just New York to Philadelphia to Florida and to beyond. And I really see you as someone that all you ever wanted was everything. So I would put you on that set and I'd photograph you in a way that, one, we took a classic approach with black and whites that I think you would want to hang on your wall because they would be reminiscent of like Marilyn Monroe and Jackie O and just really classic, but then also lean into color and lean into embracing that sign and what those words mean.
I love that. I appreciate that. I think that was pretty spot on, I have to say. And I am a Marilyn fan too.
Me too.
Awesome. So what are some thoughts on where you're going? If you'll, maybe give us a little teaser of what's next for you.
Yes, thank you for asking. So normally I book about 12 to 18 months in advance with boudoir. At this point in the year, I've typically already begun to sell out the year ahead. But I put a pause on accepting just boudoir clients because the empowerment shoots are where my heart lies. Mm-hmm. So every shoot for 2024 and moving forward is going to be a hybrid shoot between a personal branding and personal development shoot. Think boss like Marilyn, Devil Wears Prada. And then the client will have the opportunity to pick their two other looks. And those can be boudoir, those can be more personal branding looks. But I want everyone to leave with that one shot that they feel safe putting as their profile picture, putting as their corporate headshot. Because for me, empowering women and empowering individuals goes beyond just their body image and how they feel about themselves, but to how they can actively participate in their own lives when they have that more confidence and promote themselves. So in the future, it's not LRP Boudoir, it's not Lindsay Rae, the boudoir photographer, it's Lindsay Rae, the empowerment photographer.
I love it. And there you have it. Thank you so much for letting us be part of your journey. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.